Okay, the following audio recording, today's date is July 10th, 2022, is related to, if you like, a revisor, accountant, comptroller, state inspector. Enough said, you guys know. She was always extremely protective, proud of it, as an employee of a Slovenian state who claimed me even. Some people gestured me that she did go a little bit too far with saying what you're about to hear, but she went as far as claiming as soon as you post this, the MK Ultra, it's over. It's over. The audio recording, 195, 30 megabytes long, audio recorded on July the 22nd, 2022, 2 days ago, on a telephone that sometimes audio records on internal memory, sometimes on external, on a phone that sometimes video records on internal, and on other occasions on external, to make my day, to make me happy each time. You can imagine how it is that then you start resetting the phone and doing all kinds of bizarre stuff to lose more time, as it was designed by Slovenian police, by people who did this stuff. But still, actually no, this is the phone that properly records on the phone. That's another phone I was just talking about. Now I have all kinds. I have three phones. I have several phones, and it's all kinds of stuff that happens, right? One phone like this, another one like that, and so on and so forth. Still, 2 days ago, July 22nd, 2022, more proofs about MK Ultra. This girl was involved in MK Ultra case. Throughout her studies, claimed to be interested in me. Once I expressed my interest in her, she was off the picture, tested me again. Maybe on the next occasion I was not as much eager anymore, or whatever they had done. And maybe I again committed myself or whatever, and the same thing, God knows, repeated what. Eventually, just like all other females, she landed in someone else's arms, and she's got 3 kids. Let's go to this audio recording, which is no less than 50 minutes long. Yeah, you're gonna have to listen and suffer if you wanna. If you speak Slovenian language, I'll give you 50 minutes of torture. Um, I am gonna translate, but I don't know if I'm gonna go ahead and translate everything, because it's really is a 50 minutes, and then you have to go and let the whole audio still play. And but for the police purposes, investigators' purposes, people for whom I hope they're gonna take Mr. Antonio Guterres out of United Nations, even handcuffed, because I got enough of this stupidity. This stuff is necessary part. For the police, for investigators, this is just unnecessary. For me, a necessary, boring evil, but this is the way it goes. The song. The MK Ultra song. Original audio is well over 1 hour, actually 2 hours long. Actually, it's 2 hours and 8 minutes long, and so I did a reduced one to what you see right here, 44 minutes, which I have to play by joining 2 parts from the original audio recording, meaning that
Aha, ja, dobro, pa naj bo tako. Ampak, kaj sem hotel reči?
the two of us went apart.
Tako pa, tako, da tudi to ni bilo. Da tudi to ni bilo.
The two of
kako si vi
us
mene napela.
The two of us
Zevsu pa
met right
dol,
here at this location here.
zdaj bom šel pa dol, pa bom šel pa še enkrat gor in bom sem mislil, koliko ste vi mene napeli. Adijo. Se še vidimo kaj.
Just to give you an idea, she went down she went up toward the church of Married Saints Nativity, and I had it already down. And I went back toward Church of Saints Nativity because I go a few times up and down. And so we met again. You heard me saying addio, and she said to me addio. That means goodbye. And we met again on her way down and on my way up.
Natančno bom se prav povedal, tam noter sta bila.
Okay, so what I did was I got all this extracted into exactly what you see here for you and me. 44-minute long track.
Oziroma zaradi tega, ker so se nekakšni ampak ena hudič.
I am doing this just for the purposes of legitimacy. I don't want any kind of issues when it comes to comptrollers, inspectors, controllers, and stuff like this. She demanded during MK Ultra in front of me to people involved in it to have this thing video recorded literally by the neighbors. Let me demonstrate you where exactly I have met her, because she selected the location where the two of us would meet in the future already during MK Ultra. Again, I have to accent, she did this to literally protect herself. This was right out here in the open. Marino znamenje. What we're gonna do is I can take you. That's what she does. That's basically this thing here. That's where she waited on me, right here. This is right out on the open. As I said, this stuff was video recorded for her own protection, so that somebody would not come out and say that this was some kind of fake, that I did something or something like this. Our neighbors did, and this place is actually surviving still. Right here. And we started with memories from MK Ultra, for which I believe that I did some really extraordinary stuff, for which I think, since they deemed that I did manage to even point location of the university, that's an online university. The online university that she and the friends who asked me under MK Ultra gave me on a map a detail about this university. They pointed me out on a computer, and I did actually manage to point her the location of the university right out on the open without any phone in my hands or anything like this, located in a Central Florida in United States of America, where I never ever supposedly was in my lifetime either. So that goes like into a bit extreme. Now I have to tell you that this girl also came up due to some politicians she had no choice to, with million and one different scenarios. It could have been also that other people did some stuff for her whenever she was not present to worsen things. This is also the stuff that took place frequently. But overall, I have pointed out few things that definitely prove validity of my claims as per her involvement in MK Ultra. So I think it's worth of translation that will take away from me probably 2 hours or something like this. So we better head toward this audio recording and get it done. A reminder, between 95 till August of 2006, that's 11 and a half years, I've never exited the United States of America to any country anywhere in the world, with exception to the state of Ecuador in South America, where my ex-wife was from. It appears I was all over the world, you know, and that includes Slovenia. Years I will be touching goes straight into MK Ultra period. I insisted right now. This was my place here, Miami, in southern Florida, right here, for 11 and a half years. And 3 times I did go to a visit to a family of my ex-wife. That's all it was. But I don't know where I spent more time, in US or, well, obviously I did in US, but I was all over the world, in Africa, in Australia, in Asia, all over the Europe, Russia, Scandinavia, Western Europe, of course Canada, and sure, also, I should say, even Greenland, Antarctica and Arctica, everywhere. So there you go. This is lady involved in MK Ultra since she was a student. Let's go. July 8, 2022. I just managed to get up there and I see her sitting right there, and I start a conversation with her. I told her, but your husband is Gradbinets. Gradbinets means this here, basically. And although I have not asked her about this stuff yet, I'm gonna next time when I see her, because she said no, she said no. I was sure that he's actually an engineer, and in a way I still think I am correct. In a sense, even that she said no, that he's not, in a sense that he completed first a 3-year education, and then he went next to the job to complete 2 more to get mechanical engineering equivalent degree. However, not in a construction, obviously it's in something else, but I think he did have actually 3-year school, and then he upgraded 2 year more of education, but I need to verify that stuff. I cannot say anything. If it is, I'm gonna find out sure enough next time. But usually, yeah, you would get your oftentimes degree by attending school on next to work. It's just that this guy upgraded a 3 year into 4 year, into the fifth um, technical related science, somewhere to high school, something like this, diploma, whatever. So I gotta verify this, I gotta find out, and that's why I got confused when I said to her first that he's an engineer, that he's got a 2 year engineering degree. Not really. My first wrong.
Gradbeni tehnik.
And I started in a completely, I started toward the end of the video, so.
Da,
Hi, how are you? Hi,
ce cupovi,
how are you?
n-am după show.
Good, good.
Probavam spomens malo.
And as soon as I saw her, I knew that she's very familiar, very familiar to me, so.
Ružna punca, pa me pa ni več.
I said, cute girl, but and then my mind goes blank.
Ja, men det är så, ne? Ojej, vi definitivno veste, jaz ne. Jaz moram povedati. Definitivno tukaj, tu vem, da ste imela gor ture.
She says, did we ever met before? Did we ever met? Is it possible that we ever met? She's laughing.
Ne, vi tu že delate lep cajt, jaz pa zadnje. V bistvu v življenju bi moral delati v zadnje, ne vem, 2 leti časa. Pri tem tega nikdar nisem delal v tem šest. Ne, ampak tu je bila vaša redna tura vedno.
I tell her that this was her regular tour, this place here. I tell her that is just for the last 2 years, that I'm actually going towards up this hill of Church of Saint Mary's Nativity since returned from Poland. But that's exactly what the case is. I have not done this before. This is really uphill, but it became my habit. Oftentimes I go. I tell her, but you yourself, I tell her, you have done this all your life. And she says, yes, that is correct. So, ta-da! That's already one credit you're gonna give me.
Svet. Torej, sigurno kakšne diplomirane inženirke, kaj takega kot ste, ne? Niste?
I tell her, you're an engineer with degree, with a diploma, with university completed, and she's ha 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 ha. No, I'm not, she says.
Imate univerzitete končane?
I says, you don't have university completed? Because I know she does. And she says, no, yes I do.
No, jaka
Okay, so I point out that she's got a higher education completed. Let's go.
povem. Ja, ne bom se več pa karkoli ste, jaz ne vem.
I want to be really, really, really specific about this. She says, I am not an engineer and it's nothing pleasant, she says. Why? She says it's nothing pleasant. When she says it's nothing pleasant, this is quite a tall girl, and I go to the issue of Tatiana Proxel, They try to confuse me. I don't know much on that issue, what exactly that had to do with it. But I think that she tried to trick me that she is in the same branch of work as Tatiana Proctor. Well, regretfully, I have to say that I'm also a revisor in a sense of what I'm doing. She had million and one scenarios, confusion scenarios, and I told you I'm the only one in this world who is 1000% correct. All other people only 100% correct. I don't know what was in it, but she engaged a lot in idea to thrill me with idea about psychiatry. A lot of people did this. This wasn't about coughing only, but they came in respect to psychiatric scenarios over and over and over again. This mobbing, if you want to call this, whatever you want to call this, was related constantly to making fun out of your hospitalization, even before one took place. This is just very, very unpleasant matter. But this also was case with her, and when she said nothing pleasant, yeah, I can recall her scenario, MK Ultra scenario about the psychiatry and stuff like this. I don't fall for it, though. I don't fall for that.
Ne more biti res. Ne more biti res.
I said to her, no. I said, that can't be true. That can't be true. When she said it's unpleasant, I answered her, no, that can't be true.
Pa dajte samo povedati.
And I tell her, why don't you tell me yourself what exactly your profession is?
Kaj? Ker to da bi... Prosim?
Revisor. Revisor, I already told you, comptroller, state inspector,
Uh,
auditor,
a res? Za...
for the Interior Ministry, for the Ministry of
Revizorka za...
Interior.
Ja vem, sem jih je več različnih.
Well, in my head, yes, every department in a government or in a private branch should have auditors, and usually this is the case, but in Slovenia they have that mostly for like accounting, financial.
Ker se reče temu vej. Tega lahko je finančna, lahko je kakšna uprava. Ja, ampak kakšna je vaša specializacija?
She said in Slovenia there are only internal and external revisors, auditors, and they all are related to the finances.
Ja, recimo. Na finance ali na...
Finances and accounting. And I don't know, she gives me a whole definition. She gives me a complete definition on Ministry for Interior and for external affairs, if you like, Ministry for External Affairs, whatever.
Pravzaprav, revizija to je nekaj, kar bi morali imeti vsi.
And I repeat her exact definition I told you a little earlier on how all the branches of government should have auditors.
Vse veje oblasti bi morali imeti tak.
When it all started, this stuff in Slovenia, long before she even got her degree, and since the whole thing had to adjust itself to European standards, at least somewhat, from what used to be previously known as Yugoslav regime, indifferent from the one, not much different from the one, indifferent from one in Soviet Union, Poland, you know, Eastern Europe basically, long before she got her employment, actually finished her university, it was, since she was involved in this stuff, Prince Andrew that assisted with what you are about to hear next. That's a class, the possibility to give a better idea to one about how it all works. And although she did not obtain a degree yet, he did made her possible to access um, I don't know what year. It was the talk about this stuff that started in 2000, and so I presume God knows when, how, this and that they did that stuff. That she had access to online um, studies which are used in the US, in Britain, God knows where else, in the Western Europe, to obtain probably certain credits that one can claim during attending university, you know, or something like this. Like you completed this and this class, you get so many points, and when all these points, whatever, math, physics, whatever, accounting, whatever it is you're doing, add together, you have a satisfactory number, you do your exams and stuff like this, and then you pass into the next year and so on till you complete your degree. And so while she did not receive any credits or anything like this, she got an opportunity to see, basically get an idea about what she is getting herself into. Before she even finished degree, before she even um, got her state job. Yeah, that's how she got this, literally through the case. Through my case is how they got themselves a lot of freebies like this to get things going here in Slovenia. Let's continue.
To se že drugi rad.
She asked me, what are you educated for? And so I
Jaz sem
tell her,
pravni te. Ja. Sam. Jaz sem sam, v zelo bližini.
she asked me, and where do you work? What do you do? Do you work far? This and that. I don't know what she's asking me. Where do I live or whatever? If I'm employed very closely or whatever it is. I tell her, yeah, sure. I am. Also, I do journalism, investigative journalism. So with my computer in the backpack, phones in my pockets. Yeah, I'm 24/7 on my work, wherever I go. Because I investigate my own case. She's laughing happily. Like, who are you, right? Yeah. Long time don't see you. She is laughing, you know, she's had a good time when I tell her, let's see this here again.
Jaz sem pravni te. Ja.
I tell her, what are you about profession? I tell her mechanical engineering, and I tell her like bored. She asked me, do you work near here?
Sam.
And I tell her, yeah.
Sam, v zelo bližini.
I tell her, very, very close, I tell her. She starts to laugh, because that's what I want, really.
Ja, no, to je pa odvisno.
She says only if it's some kind of a small company, right? If it's not a Kirka pharmaceutical.
Jaz sem malo se z novinarstvom igram.
I tell her, well, I play a little bit with the journalism.
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't know, like she doesn't know. I don't even give her my site because I know that she's on my site 24/7. All these people that meet me, they know absolutely everything. These are my number one visitors. They always go and they see what I post and so on. Interesting. Yeah, sure it is. And where do you? She asked me, where do you publish your stuff?
Na svoji spletni
On my own blog, I tell her.
strani. Ja. Ja, je, zaradi tega, ker vi prav gotovo za njo še nikdar niste pisali.
And I tell her, And she said, interesting, she says. Yes, I tell her, very, very interesting. I tell her, because I'm sure that you yourself have never heard from me. And she starts to laugh, yeah. Very interesting.
Quello voi se smeja. Ja, 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 ja. Ja, ja. Ja, ja, saj tako se ujamete punce. Nekako. Ko če bi rekel, kakšen drug odgovor, če bi dal, ne bi bil tak nasmešek. Tako. Odkrito tak. Prisrčen. Prisrčen. Srčen. Ja.
Pošten,
Ja,
pošten.
ja, ja. In kaj bi še moral izvedeti, koliko vsega tega? Kam greste na morje, ali...
Okay, so there's the things I pointed out. I pointed out that she's doing very long this already for when it comes to hiking toward this church of Saint Mary's Nativity. I pointed out that he's got a university completed, higher degree. I'm asking her, what else should I point out about you, where you go, maybe on a vacation or something like this, and she keeps laughing.
Kako vedno, nije res. A res? A imate, zarišta lauko. Prosim? Aha. Tu je pa pametno. Tu je pa pametno. Jaz sicer nimam nič, ampak verjetno, da bo glih tako. Ne, vedno sem mi všeč družba, ampak kakšna minuta včasih pa res. Ali je bolj tak televizijski tip? Mislim, boš fant. A si se ga spomnim, že spomnim. Je, bolj televizijski je. Je postal še bolj televizijski.
I asked about her boyfriend. Where's the boyfriend and actually the husband in this case? And she tells me she's at home, and I tell him, oh, okay, so you're doing it yourself. He's more of a sofa guy, basically, TV, that kind of stuff. Oh, he's gonna be happy to hear this. Well, she just wanted to do this herself, basically. That's what it is. That's what this is all about. But I am curious. I am nosy. How is it, nosy? And I keep pushing my nose in her business to learn more about it. So I keep making her laugh about whether what kind of type of the person. Is he more comfortable sofa guy, or is he go with her hiking and so on?
Je. On je tudi tak visok.
I tell her he is taller guy,
Vi ste mi
just as you.
takrat rekli, da ste imeli srečo, da ste visokega našla.
I remind her exactly of her words. Just before I came, I think, from the US, I tell her, you told me that you are lucky that you find yourself, because supposedly that I delayed for like 3 years, that I pulled her for the nose and how I will marry her or whatever. Yeah, this is the way I look. This is what she makes me feel like. And then I was lucky that I met this guy, because he is as tall also as myself. Now, when I tell her this, she is quite an honest person. She does not deny this, and she just realized that there are certain things I have memorized really well. And she keeps asking, we did met each other before? We met each other before? Really? And I tell her,
Res. Je pa, da še spet premislim. Ja, določene stvari, ko probam spomniti zdaj. Ja, ti kar tak normalen fant. Sicer je bil že takrat, to je bilo pa leta, recimo. Aha. Vidim tole. Joj, to je bilo že leta 2008, kaj takega. Ne?
I tell her, it was already year 2008, the two of you, the 2008. And she said, yeah, it's possible. So I hit back 14 years back in time. This is a young looking girl. I make no mistake, is younger than myself. Way younger.
In on je bil tak, kako bi rekel jaz, ja se pa ste vi morala, ker neki cajta ste iskala, a ne, to je bilo ne, vi ste, ja, ja, vi se pa glih tam ene 4 leta, kaj tazga ste celo iskala, fanta.
I tell her, you were searching for a boyfriend exactly 4 years. 2004, 2008.
Da ste se zapustila, kaj tazga, ali kaj je bilo diploma, 2004, kaj tazga, končano.
You completed your diploma in 2004, I tell her.
Eno drugo. Niste pa takoj delali.
Okay, so she gives me a green light on when she got her diploma. That was in 2004. Let's see, this is 18 years ago. So I point exactly the year on when she obtained diploma. You're gonna give me another green light, yeah?
Dobila, ne? Samo trenutek bom jaz povedal.
And I tell her, but you did not get the job immediately. I recall this because she was started to give me a hard time, and people gave hard time when they needed the job.
Ampak delo si dobila tam po enem letu, nekaj tako.
You got your job after 1 year, so you were without the job for some time. It took you a year to get the job.
In tam
She says yes. She got a job after 1 year, but gave me yes and no, claiming me how she worked already on mentioned work during her studies on university. We're gonna separate this issue because it's a way bigger issue.
sta ostala. Da sem se pa zmotil, Ok, da vidimo.
Actually, she tells me, okay, we're gonna take this away. As a matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this issue for the last. I admit her said I made then the wrong here, so we're gonna put this here, wrong, mistake, and we're gonna return to this one here. The thing about it is that I am not wrong. I am wrong about this part here. Job after 1 year. Very confusing stuff. What kind of a job are we even talking about? She mentioned she worked there during her university as a student when completing her studies. And it appears that she went straight to work to that exact same job. And I said then I was wrong. You were not without the job. There was no transition between diploma and employment upon completion of your university.
Ja. A vaš fant je bil tak normalen. On je bil, on je, jaz mislim, prosim, a res, pa je on je, Meni se zdi, da je imel čala, ni imel čala. Ni imel, ampak frizuro je imel pa tako malo skržljano, ne. Ni imel tako bolj malo, ne, ni moči.
I asked her whether her boyfriend, when still was a boyfriend, had glasses and, well, a bit like my hair but curly hair. She gives me on both as a no. I told you about earlier about 1000%. She involved different, she alone involved different scenarios in it, and there was other people involved in this stuff. They not necessarily wanted this case to get through, but I had a very strong beginnings and the chance for me to completely identify her. I think I already did it based on what I managed, but still far from completion here. Still gonna have to work on this, and the girl just doesn't give easily yes. Even if you point out close, a centimeter close to, she just doesn't give any. She doesn't give in any clue like this.
Bil je pa tak, močnejši, mislim močnejši, tak. Takrat, pa se je ena druga stvar, ki je bolj pomembna.
Physically, he looked like myself, like an average built guy.
Pol,
She doesn't give any yes or no, and it doesn't matter to me, that kind of stuff.
kar se spomnim,
Let me see this.
kar se spomnim, šel si za eno hiško, vi ste nekaj naredila, pa se eno.
This girl was a trickster. I got to tell you that I'm gonna come up with a bunch of stuff that would make me look like we never met before. If, in addition, in continuation, I wouldn't point out some completely extraordinary things. She came up with the scenarios, and another one who might have come up with the scenarios and literally, because the two are the same age, approximately, was Tatiana Prokshel, the psychiatrist who was involved in it. The two supported one another in confusion. The two collaborated with one another. So I did find myself with whomever, and inside of the apartment, and inside of some house, and this and that, and it was all kinds of scenarios. As I stated, if it was for just the scenarios, the lies they instilled in me, and my having no ability to point out some totally extraordinary information about her, I would fail this. But I did not. Don't worry about it. I always have an ace in my sleeve. When I start something, for every no I get, for every lie I get, you gave me, don't fool yourself. There's always something that once I start, for fact I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna get out of my memory more information, and so that much more makes more authentic this audio recording. There was nothing about a house, there was nothing about the money, there was nothing about a credit. Yeah, there was all kinds of scenarios and about a credit. And about apartment, and how her parents work in Ljubljana.
Šlo pa se je za neki, ali je bilo pa od staršev, in pa sta tisto 2008.
Maybe they even wanted to make this exclusive because she's a revisor, you know, auditor or something like this. She is a good friend of Tatiana Prokshel. The two know each other.
Ja.
Well, at least I should say the two know each other. I'm not saying the two are friends, but
tisti blud pada. Da se pogovarjamo o eni taki hiški, hiša. Zdaj sem se zamešal, pa.
it had nothing to do with the
Zdaj sem se
house.
zmotil sem se. Ok, pa sem se zmotil, oprostite.
I tell her, and then I made a mistake. I'm very tactful. I cannot go and say, well, then you lied to me, or somebody else lied to me. I just say, I made a mistake.
Zdaj sem se zmotil,
I
pa.
apologize. I don't know. She says that she does not recall me. She doesn't know. Something like this, she says. Let's see this. Let's see what.
Ni povezano z vami. Zdaj sem se zmotil, pa. Zmotil sem se. Ok, pa sem se zmotil, oprostite. Zdaj sem se zmotil, pa.
She tells me about how brilliant her memory is in respect to her university, I think, or maybe high school schoolmates, something like this. The capacity she has for the faces, ability to recall people she met in the past. Obviously, that she never met me because of. She started to give me this kind of scenario from MK Ultra that should make me feel really cold and run at this point. It's like they had their own scenarios, always buggy scenarios. That if I see that you're not doing well, that you're not doing good, and this and that, I'm just gonna tell you this. I'm just gonna tell you that I can recall so many people. Out of whatever she's gonna say, I'm capable to identify as many people as this from high school, despite their facial changes, whatever. That was the scenario that she triggered right now. Yes. Got instructions from Peter Kapsch, from Tatiana Prokschel, to give a little, to spice up a little bit these things. Let's see what else.
Vaš spomin bi šel nazaj nekje 20 let, pravite? Za obrat, res?
She said, I had ability to go 20 years back in time and identify people accordingly with their facial characteristics. Me too. I have ability to go 45 years back and identify people according to their facial characteristics. I have also proven this time and again. The good thing about me is I don't say this to her. It doesn't touch me because what I stated actually is true.
Se pravi, govorite za 1000 ljudi iz celega faksa, v 4 letih. Generacija, in vi bi iz teh od 1000 ljudi, bi jih 90% bi jih prepoznali. Pa ste zelo dobra.
I tell her, out of 1,000 people, she tells me, entire generation of her, of people, she has a capacity to identify about 90% of the people still that she spent some time from her generation when she was growing up. And I tell her, well, that's excellent, that's great, I tell her. And she feels really good about it. She feels really good about it, man. And, alright.
Zelo se spremenijo, ja. Ja, verjetno to, ja, verjetno. Evo jih, ta moji sosedje. Ja.
My neighbors are coming down. These are not my neighbors. These are people from the village that also are involved in MK Ultra, both of them. And so the two are heading back home.
Vidiš, jaz sem si tudi Tanjo najdel.
This is the first time that I have seen these people in real time going to the Church of Mary Saints Nativity, but under MK Ultra, both of this now husband and wife were involved in MK Ultra.
Moraš mu...
I never get to meet a gentleman or her. We have bumped in each other since my return from Poland, maybe 3 times, maybe something like this on the street that we passed one another.
Krivic za to, ej. Na me smuske. Ne, to je bil prej, smo se hecali neki. Smo šli dol, ta sta iz moje vasi, tam izpete. Pa vsi sem se zmeraj, smo se... smo se hecali. To je njegova žena, Tanja. Mislim, jaz slabega nisem. Ja, on pa je neki inženir. On pa ima neko dvoletno nekaj takega, ni?
So I was thinking about that man, her husband therefore eventually became an engineer. And that was all because I mistaken that he completed a 3-year school and then he went for 2 years more to get his technical school completed, right? So yes and no, and yes and no. I did point out that he did go, however, next to work, he did go to the school to get his 2 more year completed. I think she's gonna tell me next time when I see her, some kind of electrician or some electrotechnical, something like this probably. I really have to think about that, but I know that he did completed a 3-year and then 2 more years. And I was like really shocked that he got such a beautiful woman with a university degree just like this. And everybody was actually even teasing me, yeah, that could be you and you blew it. Yeah, right, I blew everything, let's go. I was wrong, he's not engineer, no. And as I stated, the girl doesn't give any break, anything at all.
Kako sem se zmotil? A res?
And I tell her, and so I made a mistake, and so I made a mistake. Usually when people say, I made a mistake, and I love her smile, I love her honest smile. The psychologists always translate it. They say, so I made a mistake, and I actually add fuel to that because I act in such a way, a little bit confusing, like demoralize how I made a mistake, this and that, and I just love when people fall for that stuff. She just did. You can hear this, yeah, so happy, cause they translated to me how this is just you make one mistake and then you make another mistake and then everything just falls apart. Well, not when you have that much confidence, not when you have a really lot of confidence, you can actually afford yourself to even look maybe stupid. Because nobody can prove that you are, for one thing. You always, I think the real confidence is giving people fruit and food for their assumptions. That are assumptions based on how you're gonna just melt yourself down like a snowman or something like this. I love that. I love when people make assumptions. I love that, and then they just proven somehow wrong. And I need to get this conversation going, so I'm trying to be as entertaining as possible. And you also get to learn more about the person. And she was like really happy, you know, when already earlier I repeated since this motto, I made a mistake, and I apologize, and made a mistake. So
Csak te annyiból
she's so happy, smiling, and I love this smile.
Tako sem se zmotil. A res? Čakajte, a ni bil on neki inženir pa to? Ni neki... A res?
So he's not an engineer, so I said, then I made a mistake, and I add a little bit
Pa ti
extra
vidiš
to
ljudi,
it.
ki vse povejo.
A
Kam
struggle.
sem kar tako,
I
kaj
tell her,
misli bene.
well, why don't you tell me some more
Interneta
about
tle
it
ni.
so I can recall more?
Kje? A ja, tlele je neki, ja. Prav je tu tega. Zdravje Wi-Fi.
I tell her, you have to recall yourself, you have to connect yourself. And I tell her, yeah, that's true, to the Wi-Fi, right? So I can read from the Wi-Fi.
Pa di mi še kaj povejte, kaj je? Ja ne vem, kaj povejte.
In case you have not noticed, it's now, we live in an era of Elon Musk. And people, one of the conspiracy theorists, you can not realize that, but they brainwash me that every time I'm going to connect myself to the whatever the internet is going to be, whatever the Wi-Fi is going to be, and they're going to read my mind, and at the same time I will be capable to connect myself to a Wi-Fi and just read the information from the Wi-Fi on a certain topics, issues, and sick shit that, boy, you have no idea what kind of stuff they brainwash me with. And Elon Musk was involved in this kind of stuff, and he came with some crazy, wild theories himself to look things more incredibly incredible, I'm gonna say. Stupid. There is no Wi-Fi reading here. There is nothing. She and I, we are right there out in the open. The whole thing is video recorded. I got nothing in my hands. She doesn't give me any clues. I ask back her for the clues, but she doesn't give me any clues. And so, but she is willing. She sits. She's got a patience, and it's a good thing. And so we go on. We continue. She's like, do it yourself, do it. And it doesn't come to me. I pointed out.
Ne. Šlo se pa je za neki kredit. Ne.
That she says that there was nothing to do with the money. Yeah, I already told you about those theories and all about the 1000%, being correct about 1000%, loaded with a bunch of stuff that was unreal, untrue, and still have ability to point out facts in such a clear fashion that nobody could possibly deny.
Ne, kredit je bil pa...
Yeah, I am convinced there was some kind of a deal with a loan involved.
Kredit je bil pa leta, šlo se za neki kredit. Prosim? Šlo se je za en kredit, za neki se je šlo in to je bilo...
I tell her there was a loan involved in this.
To se je pa uredilo, to se je pa uredilo verjetno tam okoli 2010, kaj takega.
There was a loan that was involved in this, and the loan went through in 2010. No, it was just whoever did this. If she was not, somebody else did for her, and she did some stuff maybe for somebody else and this and that. They did the stuff like this.
2011.
2011. And she keeps laughing. She keeps laughing.
Bilo neki fenigi se vlita, neki je bilo neki kredit.
She says, "No, I never had a loan in my lifetime." And she did tell me under MK Ultra about this stuff that she did not have a loan in a lifetime. But this is impossible because it's other people also that get involved in this stuff. And when you're not in a picture, it's somebody else that's maybe even using your silicone facial print or whatever. So there was no credit. There was no credit. No nothing. No credit. Boyfriend, not curly. Boyfriend did not have glasses.
Ja, boljše gotovina in vse to.
There was nothing, had nothing to do with the house. I have not made so many mistakes in God knows since.
Sigurno da je boljše.
They are not mistakes though.
Najboljš kakšnega bogatega moža najdeš. Ali pa sam je dal znarja, ja. Se še ja, ker se še bavite s čim drugim, tako poleg.
I asked her, "Do you do anything else other than your work?" I'm trying to find out about her free time, how she spends. But this girl doesn't give any kind of clues, anything whatsoever.
Dela.
She says, "No."
Ja, se ti kar dobro plačano, ne?
I tell her, it's a good paid work you do. You don't have to do anything next to work.
Ja. Res? A res?
She said, "Yeah, it's good. It's not bad, but it could be better too."
Ampak najslabše je pa tiste, ki jih ni, ne?
She says, "There's always a better option." A little earlier we were joking that the best thing to do is to just get married, a wealthy guy. And she says, "No, maybe, or to become wealthy yourself."
In vi ste bila, kakor se spomnim, kar zelo zadovoljna za te delo, da ste ga obdržala.
I told her, and I recall that you were very happy with ability to keep this work. I remember this.
Ja. Ja.
She says, "Keep my work? Really?"
Ja,
And I
ja,
says,
nisem,
"Yes, yes."
pa ne, ne hočem reči tako obdržala, ampak. Prosim? Ne,
The girl was extremely calculated and determined to get me on a wrong path, to get absolutely everything about her wrong. But in between all this stuff, she did also the stuff that helped me identify her. We're gonna get to this stuff. However, it was issues that involved issues that claimed me completed online university already in 2002, which I actually even believe it was the university she attended abroad. What the hell is that got to do with the Prince Andrew in my head, other than you're going to study abroad? I got tremendously a lot of stuff wrong because she gave me tremendously a lot of wrong leads, but still I will identify her. This is not easy work, and this was one of the most difficult, close to impossible person to identify. I wouldn't even be doing this. Is already going now. It's only 15 minutes. I did translate it, and we already are heading past 1 hour. But basically this is the way it goes.
Isto, ampak moj sošolc iz osnovne šole, Hoč smo ga klicali, Hočever, Andrej, bi rekel, da ste bila grebatorka.
I was straight with her and I told her, my schoolmate from a grammar school we attended together would say to you that you are a grebatorka. Not a really nice expression, but the amount of, I'm gonna say plainly, lies that she involved in this case to confuse me about her real identity so that I would make as many mistakes as possible, which was later rationalized to me by the psychiatrists alone, one of which was Tatiana Prokshel, that replicated her with her knowledge or without her knowledge, and I think it was both. And vice versa, very, very possibly, was just astonishing, huge. And accordingly, not that I would say to her something like this, I told her, but because people did the stuff like this, as I stated, to get loans, to get even jobs, cars, reduced price on real estate, and so on. It just went beyond anything. This stuff was rationalized to me, justified to me by the psychiatrist alone. Well, she is an auditor, she is a revisor. You're gonna have to do something to get from her ABC, basically, witnessing a recognition. And so I recognized myself by doing some extraordinary crazy stuff that you're about to hear, that actually really saved me and placed me on a map.
On je bil
But
izumitelj te besede.
I made a lot of
Grebater je
mistakes.
rekel enkrat,
I repeated a
je
lot of
prišel pred
lies I
tabo.
was told,
Ne vem, ki
basically.
je jedel, je
No
rekel, jaz
mistakes.
nisem grebator. Ker ni čist nič kaj pametnega povedal pred tablo, okej. In pa sploh ne vem, od kje je ta upor je prišel.
I've absolutely
Proti
made no
enemu njegovemu,
mistakes.
oziroma našemu sošolcu, ki je imel znatno boljšo oceno od nas. Tudi jaz nisem bil kaj.
I just give her explanation about the word grebator. This is just my schoolmate created one during the grammar school, and it's what entire generation of us was using then almost throughout life. Basically, it's a joke, not really. There was not really this is just.
Je šlo verjetno za kakšen napredek pa.
She knew about the word and did not laugh though.
Tako leta 2013 pa ste napredovali v službi pa. Ni bilo kaj povišanja, funkcije, kaj takega. Ni bilo.
I told her, but it was in 2013 that you got promoted at your work, that you got a higher position or something like this, that you got. And she says, no. Yeah, you see, the thing is that if you wouldn't even point out and tell what it was, she would be the same way. No. So this is very difficult.
Res. A res? Niste bila v tej službi, hočete reči? Ja, pa jaz ne razumem to zadevo. Če ste rekla sama, da ste končala to šolo, da ste že pred tem, da ste tam očitno preko študenta ali kaj, pa ste pa...
Ja, ampak to je bilo 2003-2004, recimo.
Aha, in pa ste... okej, se pravi, da niste pa direkt po tistem šla direkt delati na davčno, kaj takega, da ste nekaj drugega delala. Drugje ste delali.
Now things get even jiggier. She tells me that when she completed her university, that she did not go to work straight to state agency for revision and so on, but she was working somewhere else. This is totally difficult thing to do. Let me explain why. It's very difficult thing to do because either was Peter Kapsch, either were both with Prokshel, God knows what, who, how, people from Ljubljana were involved. Talking about Kuchan here, Pahor and so on, very political world. And they had this notation that to make things as crazy impossible as possible. including giving me locations of employment which she would not even obtain yet, taking me to locations where she would work but did not work yet, and so on and so forth. This is a very difficult case, but I did manage to resolve one in the end. So this is all not. I don't even know almost
Ja,
what she is talking about.
čitav banka je jedan od tistih težih. Ja.
I told her you're the most difficult case I think so far that I had, because it was why? Because it's just nothing other than 80% of it. In this case here was probably 90% of it even consisted of lies. And she alone told me during MK Ultra that she's gonna F me because of I don't know. Was it because of the Proxer, Tatiana Proxer, psychiatrist, that felt that I discriminated against her, or was it where it's got to do with it? In the end, I got tired of it. It was another guy that got her. I had the whole thing enough. I didn't want to collaborate, cooperate, whatever it is. And then things were just used to even make things more difficult, basically. And these days, maybe when the girl wants to help, and now it's not too late. She is really patient. She sticks with me. She smiles. She's doing her best to help me out. But yeah, it did have a certain weight. It did have a certain impact on this whole thing, our past, basically. I don't blame her for the past because she didn't even know what went on, and other people didn't either.
Ja.
She says, I don't know, that she's doing. Let me see this again.
Ja, čitav banka je jedan od tistih težih. Ja.
She tells me that if somebody wants to do is play with this kind of stuff, she told me he's got to get not only a university degree, but he's got to also complete something through the online, some kind of degree or whatever it is, which is what is this? International Institute. That's International Institute.
Ja.
These are the two possibilities in Slovenia to complete whatever. If you want to do it here in Slovenia, this kind of work, revision, interior, and then external revision, whatever it is. For the internal, you can do it right, is enough to do it here in Slovenia. If you want to do it external, then you also have to do this through the online studies, through this international university. There are only two possibilities. Well, she's got done both of this.
Ja.
In Slovenia, it's a little bit more expensive. The Institute for the International, however, that one is for the revision, for the accounting, for audition. That's located in state of Florida in the USA.
Zdaj si čudo.
Now she gives me a clue about International University in Florida, that she did pass some examinations, and along all that stuff, it's another truck of lies that I was brainwashed under, MK Ultra that comes to my mind, basically. And so you're gonna see again Alice Wonderland coming out of my mouth.
Komplicirala stvar je.
I heard that's complicated.
Hvala da si mi tu povedala. Ja.
I tell her, thank you, you at least told me this, and she's again, he.
Joj, što to.
No, she's actually really patient, and people had to do this kind of stuff to even have ability to help, because it was the politicians that compelled, forced, extorted even them, conditioned them with either going to use this lies, this kind of wrong, false scenarios, or you're not going to be even able to see him, meet him, have ability therefore to help him out. That was the motto of Milan Kučan.
Zdaj sem pa pretepen. Ja. Ja, lahko so, enostavno in tako. In vi ste dobila to mednarodno v 6 mesecih, nekaj takega je bilo. Niste dobila?
And I was certain again that she obtained this international degree, on which she tells me no, I did not.
Niste nekaj še študirati, 6 mesecev, nekaj takega.
I told her, why didn't you go study for 6 months abroad?
Vse,
She tells me no, but I am so much, what comes to my mind, the brainwash about how she went on to study this, even abroad, already in 2002, that
pol vi niste v tujini študirali, kakšnih
you did not study this abroad,
6 mesecev, kaj takega.
6 months?
Ni bilo nič takega.
No, I did not.
V Sloveniji. Aha, nadaljavo.
Only in Slovenia, she tells me, I already told you, this can only be done through online studies. Therefore, attending this international university in Florida can only be done through online studies.
Kaj ste bila pol v kakšni mednarodni šoli ali kaj takega, ali kaj?
I am totally confused because of number of lies I was told. So I asked you that you then attended some kind of international school. How can I go and tell about what when I was told basically the first time for 2002 that it's going to be Prince Andrew who's going to help her. Yeah, Prince Andrew effed me good whenever there was a possibility.
Čakajte, zdaj bom pa...
Then again, it was like in a home for elderly people where they would bring exactly copy paste the same technology. They would bring visitors, the future residents to the home for elderly people in 97, 98, right here to this facility in Novo Mesto, right? Now you get to see them. They bring you drugged up inside the home for elderly people. How about this one? Do you identify here this one? How about this one? Do you remember this one? Yes, he is here since 97. How about that one? Yeah, he is here since 2000. And then all of a sudden, every time they bring you back over the course of years, because it started in 95, talking about a home for elderly people, the people on the side, they tell you, now it's safe to say, okay? So the guy who was already in 97 supposedly in home for elderly people, he did not go there in home for elderly people. He came to visit in home for elderly people during MK Ultra procedure. Whenever they had me subjected to MK Ultra, they had people come for a visit to home for elderly people. They had to give me an impression about the time they already have spent inside of this home for elderly people as a residents. And on the side, this residents were giving you information. Sebastian, now you can say, now it's okay, now it's the time, you can say. So, supposedly he came in 97 to home for elderly people, then he tells you in 2003, now it's safe to say. And then he goes in 2005, now it's safe to say, the same guy. Then he tells you in 2010, okay, now it's safe to say. How about you? IFU. How you gonna know when the person came? Then you go on a visit to father and you ask, what are you here already 20 years? And the guy tells you, no, I just came 6 months ago or 1 year ago. Well, that's exactly the same kind of technology that was used. That's exactly how they did it. That's what Milan Kuchko, that's what Mr. Pahor, this is what they did. That kind of bullshit. If you wouldn't have a capacity to pull out the information, that would be something extraordinary, something that would pinpoint, do something completely insane. Year, exact year or location or number of people at work or something like this, you would have no clue. You would come out as completely wrong, basically. Well, I did, absolutely beyond any doubts, identify. It's just, it takes a lot of energy, basically, to get through this cloud of lies. But her degree was exactly like this. First time, it was in 2002. Then it was the same shit with the job. The job where she would already take me to, the job she would obtain in the future, whatever. It was already in 2008. And then it was in 2010. Now it's safe to say. Now I got one. With the same thing with the diploma. Now I got the diploma. Do you remember when we talk about diploma? This is basically the technology. This is how you're gonna deal. This is the MK Ultra. That's why I said 1000%. I'm the only person who can be 1000%. And that's only when you see it through the cloud of lies.
Da pa nekaj ne bo držalo. Tako. Ampak da vam tu povem.
Even that she is saying to me, she's saying to me, obviously, the right things. The cloud of lies is so thick that I don't actually understand what the hell she's saying, because the lies that were repeated to me under MK Ultra were repeated, brainwash, to get me on a falsehood so many times that it's actually right now when I meet her in a real time, for me to cope with the truth that she is saying. Now literally it's like this.
A to ne, tu mi pa štima. Tu mi pa štima, sem mu povedal, bom letnica kdaj dobil. Tu pa ni štima. Ja. Ta zadeva pa ni štima. Tu je pa bil pol. Pa tu jaz bi šel nazaj tudi tam v eno leto 2002. Ne da 2000.
She told me already that she did not study it. And it just come to me now, this subject, online studies. And yeah, I have to go back in time and analyze the whole case. Now you're talking about more than 22 years back in time. And through entire time do the revision in respect to the subject known as online studies pertaining to her case only. And now I come straight into a bunch of lies that I was brainwashed with under MK Ultra. This is the way it goes. This is how it works. So I go 2002, 2004. She's laughing.
Oh, super. Super. Ne,
She already told me that she did not do this stuff, whatever.
tu sem pa vesel.
And then she tells me 2015, 2016, she keeps laughing. I'm all confused, man. Not really confused, but
Sem pa zelo vesel teh odgovorov.
I actually do not argue with her. I tell her I'm really, really happy of your answers. Really, really happy of your help, of your assistance. She is so happily laughing about this.
Ker vem, da nimam narobe.
And the thing is that I tell her she doesn't know the clue why that I'm still so cheerful, so happy, when she alone gives me 2015, 2016 You know, I go 2002, 2004, 2006, and she goes 2015, 2016. And I tell her exactly, exactly. So I'm so happy about this because I know now I'm not wrong. And she's so laughing, so happy.
Nisam smotril, se pravi, da imam
So I tell her, so I was not wrong. So I'm 100% correct.
pravo osebo.
You are the right person then. This is the stuff she doesn't like to hear with somebody saying that she's the right person when you are in the middle of the ocean of nothing other than mistakes, right? You wonder it and make just right now 50 mistakes, whatever.
Awesome. Yeah.
And she's like, you can hear from her, she's saying, with a little bit bitter taste in her mouth, she says, she's like figuring me out psychologically where exactly I am. And she says, oh, really? You know, she says, oh, really? Oh, let's hear this again. This is priceless.
Awesome. Yeah. Tu
And I
sam se
said, her,
dogovoril za
yeah,
druge
exactly,
poti.
exactly.
Veste, jaz sem ne smoten.
And I am joking with her, and I said to her, I don't make mistakes, and she keeps laughing. Okay, she's like, you don't have enough, okay? Let's play some more.
Dobro. Dobra, odlično.
In a
A
way,
res.
in a way, she admits there was all kinds of stuff.
V redu. To je zelo dobro.
She's definitely determined
Vidite,
to help
meni
me out.
je
That's one of the
všeč
things.
najviše ocene, oziroma da človek definitivno stvari prav dela, je takrat, ko dobi ali konstantno najviše ali pa najnižje ocene. Takrat definitivno nekaj je, ali je lahko tako, ali je lahko pa tako.
I tell her there are two things in this world when it comes to school. Okay? There can be something completely wrong with a human being, and at the same time, it could be that it's something completely correct, considering my own case with a human being that is doing in the school. It is determined by two grades. One grade is that he gets like the highest grade, and then he either gets the highest grade and or he gets the lowest grade. So from 1 to 5, given the 5 highest grade, 1 lowest grade, you might be excellent student according to my theory if you get either all the time constantly 5, or you actually might be brilliant, not maybe as a student, even if you constantly get the lowest grade, number 1. That was my case. That's how I coped. I mostly coped with 1, but occasionally I would score 5, and oftentimes I would get 3. But the person that gets 5s in between ones, you can't prove one that's something wrong with one, because actually, especially if you would have seen my index from the school, from the grammar school and from the high school and technical, you would have seen what nobody possibly could have seen anywhere in the world. This was already like, it already looked like a war that exploded afterwards in 91. You could not have seen anywhere in the world anything like this. American politicians, when they saw this school indexes from me, they couldn't believe. They quickly realized there was a big war that already went on in the school between me and teachers. You see, the person that gets constantly 1, 1, 1, 1, obviously the system is trying to beat him up. But in between all that stuff, in a desperate attempt to crush him everywhere, this guy is going to go and also score 5, and he's going to prove you completely upside down wrong. You do this kind of stuff, you're never going to be able to prove one that something is mentally wrong with this guy. Now, this guy classifies with the lowest score, with the lowest grades, into either of the two categories. If he would not score those highest scores, you could say that something is wrong with the guy, maybe mentally or something like that. But because he does, you can't actually prove this. The guy that that constantly gets the highest grades, let's say number 5, given the 5 the highest grade, can either be brilliant because that's what he gets, or he gets a discount by the system. We had people who got the highest scores all the time, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, but because they're politically involved parents in the, you know.
Zaradi tega pač, ker tisti v sredini, ki je tisti nekje, ali pa najnižji, kaj se govori. Dobro je tako. Pa kaj sem hotel še reči?
I tell her good.
Je pa prav tako, ja, otroke imate tu ve.
I tell her, you know what, I remember that you have a children. She is catching a breath right now.
Otroka.
You have 2 children, I tell her. You have 2 children.
2 otroka imate.
2 children you have.
To sem se zmotil.
She says no. And I said, really? I said, then I made a mistake again.
Imate več od dveh.
She says, I asked her, do you have more than 2?
V redu.
She says, yes, I do. Aha.
To se nisem zmotil.
So I did not make a mistake.
3 imate ali kaj?
She says, I have 3 children. Okay, so I caught her on a children.
Aha, zdaj so že 3. Ok, ampak recimo bom takole bom povedal.
Now, my stating that she has 2 children is very good. Even that she says she has 3 children, but I want to pin this thing again to give myself a credit.
Ja, ne vem, kako ima to smisla. 2014 ste pa že imeli 2, ne?
In the year 2014, that's 8 years ago, you have already had 2 of them.
3?
She said, I already have 4 of them. Okay, that's not bad at all. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna give myself a credit here. In 2004, she stated to have 3 children, not 2. So this year I pointed out that she had 2 children, and in fact in 2014 that she already had 2 children. That's what I was sure about. And she tells me I already had 3 children. Okay, but this is already good. So this is again.
In pravite, da vi ste eno drugo stvar delali?
She says, no, you don't have the right person. No, actually I do have the right person. That's a good indicator right there that I gave her.
Takrat, čeprav to bi moral tudi vedeti, ne? Mislim, da. Tega pa ne bom vedel. Res, sej. Važne so tiste stvari, katere se ne da obrniti takoj. Te stvari se da vse obrniti takoj, ampak teh drugih pa ne. Te, ki sem povedal. Vi ste pa eno drugo stvar delala. Ja, se ste res. Upam, da niste rekla še, da ste bila samozaposlena. Niste rekla. Pa ste bila samozaposlena. Niste bila samozaposlena. To sem hotel reči, da si bila samozaposlena vsaj nekaj cajta, enih par let. Aha, ok, ti pa sploh čudovito.
Now there is a big problem. My memory twists around her first employment, for which I deem she was actually self-employed because I see just a few people in the picture and her. And I'm all confused, but determined to get to the bottom of this. It's a very difficult stuff, very difficult, but that's how it works actually.
In zakaj ste prej rekla to, da, ko sem vas vprašal, kje dela, da boste rekla, da je ena taka zelo neprijetna. Ja. A je tu?
I want to know about her work. And I asked her, why did you say to me before that something very unpleasant about your work? It is a very unpleasant matter. Um, it appears like as if most people would be sensitive to one, as it would be like a dirty secret, something that you would say to somebody, I'm a psychiatrist, and that kind of stuff. I asked her this question because I'm not happy with a number of the misinformation that was given to me pertaining her case during MK Ultra, because the amount of misinformation is just astonishing. And I'm just really thinking about what the hell I'm thinking about to myself. What did I wonder in? Still determined to get the truth out, but
Prosim?
because it's people that fear this kind of auditions from the state, comptrollers, the stuff I do. I understood that she had difficult situations she ran into already. They told me under MK Ultra that they tried to challenge her.
Ja, ne, se vi niste...
Well, I'm just gonna skip this stuff. I'm buying myself time a little bit to recall more.
Nedvomljivo, da verjetno pa take stvari čut bolna. Ja, stvari so popolne. Da je bolj, mislim, glede... Kako, glede tega? Nekje v vzhodno Evropo miselnosti. Od njih, da je od vseh polnega moje miselnosti.
This is just a philosophy I'm gonna skip. I don't want to waste time on that.
Je z njimi. Gledano. Ampak jaz sem ustrajal na njih za Sloveniji iz Balkanskih, po nekih za tistih jugoslovanskih divno Balkan, osvobodili mene kurac, če mi je všeč ali ni, če obstaja. Obstaja. Še naprej razdele, po taki med temi svetovnimi med sabo trgovali, drug na drugega, tako delo, kako bi jaz tisto ki smo točno leta dala. Ma veze z, ki ste omenila prej, ampak nisem vedel. Aha, Florida, si ste omenila prej. Kaj pa ti stečaj ima veze z Londonom, z Britanijo? Je tu kakšna britanska šola ali kaj takega? Ni.
She already told me that this is on the Florida, this and that, but I have a Prince Andrew in my mind who started this BS online schooling, how he's gonna assist, open the windows of opportunity to her, to Slovenian government, to have ability to see what the foreign students, international students, how they study, how they see basically the work through exactly methods that are being used to create these professionals. That's what I mentioned earlier, yeah, 2002. This is international university.
Aha, Florida.
It's in the Florida. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Florida, they absolutely have had me. I suppose you're not gonna see me anymore because what is this here? Okay, you will. That's great. When it comes to Florida, this and that, somehow I got disabled, whatever. They had me all over Florida, all the universities from Miami uh, to Fort Lauderdale to whatever that was, whatever any new university popped up, whatever, Orlando, Smyrna Beach area, Tampa, Florida, especially. Ooh, St. Pittsburgh, on the other side of the country to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, I should say, Fort Myers, Gulf of Mexico area. And so I'm determined about, because I always have capacity during MK Ultra to point out. It's what I record later on, and nobody understood how I managed to pinpoint the location of this international university where she did not even go to study but did the online course. And so I said, let's try this one. Let's see if I can pinpoint that. Now that goes to Americans that would drive me back and forth to Florida. Maybe I can do something like this. Let's see this.
Sedeš je pa na Floridi. In kako je pa ime?
I asked what the name is, and she gave me some kind of international institute for whatever, auditioning, something like this. And I say, oh, really? Yeah. I mean, nonsense, but I'm buying myself time.
A res? Se pravi mednarodno ima sedež? Zdaj se spomnim.
Now it's a whole bunch of these universities that come to my mind, what I was taken to whenever they brought me to the US.
Aha. Ja, sej so me vodili tam.
I tell you, yeah, they did guide me throughout the Florida.
Ampak ta je bila pa zelo netipična univerza. Florida, ja, Florida, ampak
that was a very typical university, very specific.
Moralo bi tu
I tell her Florida, yes, Florida, and now my hard drive is searching for this location in Florida, over there somewhere in the middle of this Tashkagora on this plane.
V Tallahassee.
I tell her, I think this should have been located in Tallahassee. That's what I was. They brought me, but I said, no, don't say anything. Wait.
Fuck me, the Tallahassee.
But it was not in a Tallahassee. Wait a minute.
Tu je bil prav en tak čuden, ki je bil vse na novo neki narejen.
This was like a remote place, newly made. Not even a big place. If this was this. Now I'm thinking about, because in South Dade in Miami, they also had further away. They also started with these universities. There also was one university that popped up. They would also take me to, but I gotta decide where is this location in my head. She doesn't give any clues, anything. She says, I have no clue.
Prosim? Čakajte, pa to
She says, I don't know the Florida, so there is nothing I can help you out with.
je potem, ta zadeva je v bistvu potem nekje v južnem Miamiju.
I say exactly what it is, but wait a minute. This is, I think, located in South Miami, something like this. I said, wait a moment. This institute, she said, I have no clue. All I know is it's on Florida. All I remember is this is located in Florida. She did not even complete this course. She doesn't give less than any kind of clue.
Ali je to v Miamiju, ali pa
I tell her,
to?
if it's not in Miami, I tell her, then it's gotta be.
Predvidevam pa, da celo ni tam.
It's coming to me, all the universities they guided me to.
Fort Lauderdale je
Then it's a Fort Lauderdale too,
gor
I remember.
severno, tu bi bilo čisto enih tam 40 km, nekaj takega. Ampak v tem primeru je pa tu, mislim, da je nekaj ekskluzivnega, bi bilo pa tam nekje okoli Palm Beacha, če se ne motim.
I tell her, but this is not Fort Lauderdale, this is further north. It's something exclusive. Because I know it's a smaller place. It's got to be around a Palm Beach, further up north. The truth is, I don't have a map. I'm not using Android, anything like this. We are just standing out there on a plain sight.
Da mora biti pa nekaj takega. St. Petersburg, tu je na
St. Petersburg, that's on the other side of the Florida.
drugi strani ne more biti.
It can't be,
Iz
there's
Fort
not,
Myers.
no
Se
way.
pravi, da tu bi bilo pol čudna zadeva, kakor mi je bilo to čudno, ampak to da probam pozicionirati. Oziroma, tu mi je bilo pa čudno najdeti. Tu je pa bolj proti tam, proti Orlando, pa proti na vzhodni strani Floride. Se pravi, kaj tu?
Now I tell her this is Orlando area, however, on the east side of Florida. Therefore, Atlantic Ocean on a same, basically on the same level as far as, what is it, latitude as Orlando, however, on the east side of Orlando, right?
Jupiter.
And in my head, against the same shit pops up as it did during MK Ultra when everybody corrected me on Jupiter. In my head, I left Florida long ago. I left Florida in 2006, ladies and gentlemen. That's no less than 16 years ago. And I didn't travel one at all. I was always located in Miami Beach. That's all it was. With exception of whenever I went with a truck and did some continental US driving, trucking I should say, I would just pass through. There was no cargo I would ever distribute throughout Florida. So I had no idea, but pretty much I'm saying Orlando and on the east side of Orlando located. This is in Orlando area, however, not in Orlando, but on the east side. And in my head, it always pop up under MK Ultra a Jupiter. A Jupiter, in reality, I don't know why, it was always Juno and Jupiter. It's really none of the two, and it's no Juno and it's no Jupiter. What I have in my mind right now is area of Smyrna Beach. But I don't have a map. I don't have any ability to point out. But yeah, I am right now at the center of the Florida. And I am pointing out toward eastern part of Orlando, Florida. And that's pretty much exactly where this university also is located, you know.
Oziroma Jupiter se mu reče.
Jupiter, no, it's not Jupiter.
Zdi se mi.
Smyrna Beach
A ker sem
area.
bil jaz tu, in Lake Mary je pa točno tam, kjer sem rekel.
She says she pulls the Android out, connects to the internet. We are not next to one another. I am standing several meters away from her. I'm not close to her. We are apart right there right now that we talk, at least 1, 2, 3 meters. And she sits, I'm standing up, she is looking on her Android sitting right there. And she says Lake Mary. Okay, so let's see where Lake Mary is located. And I said, well, the Lake Mary is exactly what I stated you just now. This is east of Orlando, toward the ocean, east of Orlando. basically Smyrna Beach area. Okay, Lake Mary. This was more done to see the capacity I have, which they would, during MK Ultra, they would give me, I would say, a very high grades. They would give me like even my opponents, political opponents, if you like, they would give me like recognition, like how the hell did he knew about this stuff? Okay, so this is a Lake Mary right here. Sanford basically would be. So this is as good as it gets. It doesn't get any better. Okay, Smyrna Beach is right here. The Smyrna Beach would be about maybe 20 kilometers from Sanford. Yeah. So this is about between Orlando and Smyrna Beach. Okay? So you couldn't but do something insane like this to prove, to identify the person involved in MK Ultra. And I did. That's a Florida right there that you see. Yes, it could have been in Jacksonville. It could have been in Tallahassee. It could have been in Jacksonville. It could have been in Tampa. It could have been in Fort Myers, I should say, St. Petersburg, giant city. St. Petersburg, Tampa, giant. It could have been in Miami, giant, 2 million people with the Fort Lauderdale, more than that. But instead of all these universities I have gone through, in fact, I have pinpointed the proper location of this online university on the state of the Florida. So, you know, I started to make more and more sense. So we're going to write down here that I actually did pinpoint it. Pinpointed online university, which she did attend it. She did attend it because she wanted to see how it all works. She did. Except that this university, from what I can recall, out of my memory, and you can see my internet provider, you can do anything you want to do. I've seen this university. This is a strange university that I think might have been even something else before in there. This university is not like university, like a big giant university or something like this. But from what I can recall, and I was disappointed because this is the university, and I was like, WTH. I was like, what kind of university is this? Like under MK Ultra, and they were like, Americans were like, but the university, boy, the university. I said, but this looks shitty, Yeah, but here they write it down, this diploma and this and that. This is the university. Nothing that would make an impression on me under MK Ultra. It had to be really something to make impression on me. These are two buildings that I would say maybe even a size of maybe, I don't know, 20 by 20, maybe something like this, talking about meters or something like that. Nothing like, I don't know what, something like that. I'm not gonna say like this house, but basically like two houses like this, something like in that sense. Nothing really special. No, I did not go see this anywhere. That's exactly what it is. Now, in this was, from what I can recall, either was this building or some other building or whatever was next door or whatever it is. They have actually even made some reconstruction. I should say reconstruction. They did some. They did not rebuild one, but they changed the way it looked, maybe because of my critique or whatever. Um, and then they told me, no, 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 this is the university, whatever it is, and what the year was that that stuff happened. I have no idea, but I assume that this is so much information, boy. Let me see this. Was it? Definitely it was not 2002. Definitely this was not Britannia. You're talking about more or less, if I take a dot and throw one, like 2008, something like this. Yeah, and I probably didn't even go wrong. 2009. 666. That's all. Let's continue.
Evo. No, kaj tam, povejte, je tam Jupiter zraven?
I tell her, is there a Jupiter or not? Is there a Jupiter or not? There is no Jupiter there where Orlando is. Jupiter, Juno. This is just further up north from Fort Lauderdale. I totally made a mistake. Why I made a mistake? Because it was a real estate. It was the guys in Miami, Jewish guys, they told me, Bob, go with us. Leave the F in Miami. Go with us. We gotta go up north. It's time to buy your house, your property. You know, like in that song, Go West or something like this. There's jobs up there. You get the house, boy. You get this, you get that. You see, I came here to Miami a long time ago. This is what I heard in 95 and 96 and 97 Miami. They told me Miami's already overcrowded. There's nothing going on here. They told me, boy, the way you live in the U.S., you come, you purchase, and all around you, you're going to see the city grows up. The value of your real estate property goes up. You sell it, you make money, and you move to another location. And that was a Juno. That's what the Joe Biden also wanted to know all the time under MK Ultra. Why? What is it with me with a Juno, actually? Not a Jupiter. Jupiter, Juno, whatever it is. It's about further up north from Fort Lauderdale, what it is. And that everybody was moving to that area at that time. Yeah, that's right. But this is not an area of what I stated earlier, Orlando and east of Orlando.
Sam bi vam to naslal.
Ja, ne, dajte mapo in potem. Ne, to sem copy paste, ne. Address. A tu že bolje. Eno tako Tanja bi jaz potreboval, da bi me naučila.
I think she actually said Sanford. Now I stepped to her and I said, no, come on, let's go. Let's see where this is.
Kako sploh uporabljati. A ste profesor? Profesor pa. Ja. Lake Mary je škola, ne? Pa gremo pa tlele, ne? Tale pa piše tole, kako piše, New Smyrna Beach, ne? Tu tole, ne? Tukaj je to Orlandiček, ne? Tlele mora biti pa Jupiter, mora pa tlele biti.
No, there is no Jupiter between Smyrna Beach and Orlando. There is just Sanford, as I demonstrated. But in my head, it's a Jupiter. Sanford is not a Jupiter.
Nekje.
Juno, Jupiter,
Oziroma,
no, it's not.
Jaz se tako, kot sem povedal, na tej strani, na vzhodni strani Orlanda, na obali, ne?
Okay, I said more or less the way I stated, on the east side of Orlando. All right, next to the beach.
Samo da tu je malo višji gor, ne? Kje je bilo tu spet? Lake Mary. Vidimo tole. Zginil je Lake Mary. Tako da sem čisto popolnoma nezmoten.
I tell her that's exactly what I stated.
Zelo netipična stvar.
Now, uh, I always pointed at the right location, but I always used, whenever the MK Ultra took place, I always fantasized about the Juno and Jupiter, but I always pointed out in Smyrna Beach, Orlando area, which in between it's a sandford. I always did, and nobody understood how that was possible. I did it again, so it doesn't matter. You see, she's actually boosting my self-confidence. That's nice.
Kako ste zanimiva punca. Upam, da sem še kaj spomnil, pa da smo drugi srečali, pa da bom povedal vse o... Ok, saj sem se že spomnil, prepozno je.
I tell her, you're a really interesting girl. I hope to meet you again. And it's going to be some other time we're going to meet. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you some more about it. And I tell her, wait a minute, it just came to me more.
Sem se že spomnil. Vaši starši, recimo, ne, da vam povem,
No. This is a Mrs. Proctor business here. That she lived in apartment and they worked in Ljubljana and they would keep returning to the Novo Mesto and stuff like this. Whoa.
ne,
Too many problems. No. Cloud of
oni so
lies.
bili tisti, ki so vam dali, se pravi, stanovanje, ki je bilo v bloku.
Sploh, not
Yes.
true. The two worked, the two commuted, work to Ljubljana, and they ended up living her apartment here in Novo Mesto. Apartment, like an apartment building. Another lie from Mrs. Proctor.
Sami. To je bilo leta,
No, it's not
to je
true.
bilo leta, je bilo, ne morete reči,
I tell her it was, because I'm kidding and she's laughing because she knows all the stuff that I have gone through in respect to her case under MK Ultra.
to ni bilo res.
Ja, ni bilo res.
Tudi to, da ni bilo res.
She said, of course it was not true, she says. Not even this, yeah.
Še nisem srečala.
Prav gotovo, da ne.
She tells me, the two of us, she tells me, we never met each other before.
In boste rekli, da vaša mama, vaši starši pa to, da vi niste bili v bloki in da oni niso prihajali iz Ljubljane nekaj takega občasno, da ni nekaj takega bilo, pa ste do mene totalno napela, gospodična.
I tell her, listen, lady, in that case, young lady, I tell her, you totally duped me under MK Ultra, I tell her. Totally.
Tanja.
Čem?
She says, about what? She says,
Saj vašega imena ne vem, ampak ponavljam tako, Tanja. Zdaj.
and I say to her, I address her with the name Tanya. Okay, Tanya, because I address her with the name Tanya because, well, Tatiana, Tanya, this is the same thing. You know, Tatiana Proctor, because Tajna in Slovenian language is a secret. Well, it's not in Slovenian language only. Because Tanya is a typical name in Russia, in everywhere, in all the Slavic countries. Yeah, and of course, because I want to keep her smiling, and I also mentioned, you didn't give me your name, but I did address you with the Tanya, you don't mind, I'm sure.
Tam.
Ja.
And she
Ja,
keeps,
za vse v življenju, čisto me
I told her, Tanya, you completely duped me about life, everything about life you duped me about.
napela.
Ja, to so vse vaše domneve. Jaz kar sem povedala, jaz to držim.
She says, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that stuff.
To vam pa verjamem. Z revizorke se pa ne bi kregal.
To pa reče.
Ke pa bi bil, ne, pa bi šel v tisto kategorijo.
No, to ja, pa
Nisem jaz tist,
nimate šanse, da zmagate.
nisem jaz tist, ki vam bom rekel, da morate iti domov pa pisati.
Ja.
Ne grem
Nimate
jaz.
niti najmanjših šans, da zmagate, če se z mano začnete krigati.
Prosim,
She told me there is no chance you can win against me. I am revisor, she says. I'm auditor. I'm comptroller, mighty.
She says, "Mine is
I
a
said, I'm not. She says,
Mine's a
if you
free
start to argue with me, you're never gonna win, she says. I says, no, I said, it's not because of that. I would want to argue with you or anything like this. It's just I wouldn't want to go to that other category earlier I have mentioned about for the Slovenian language people. They'll go over, they'll understand this. For those that don't speak Slovenian language, I gotta say that, well, if the auditor, if comptroller gives you an idea about the errors you have made, you have to correct them. And since she mentioned that there were some people that they would not even accept the blame for their errors they have made and have instead demanded from her to practically not see them, to go over, and he's talking about some higher ranking politicians too, and do it the way they want her to see things is because they are such and such. Yeah, that's the kind of people that I told her earlier you shouldn't argue with because it's like a more mental patient related issues. You shouldn't have anything to do with it. So I told her I wouldn't argue with you about absolutely anything because I would go in that same category of the people that you mentioned earlier.
ni niti najmanjša šansa, da zmagate.
And she keeps repeating to me, there is not the slightest chance that you possibly can win against me. That's why. There's not the slightest chance that you can win against me. I don't actually have any intention to win over anybody.
To pa ne vem, kaj mislite, kaj
I
hočete s tem
don't,
povedati, ker jaz
I don't even
nisem,
understand.
moj namen nikdar ni bil, da bi se z vami kregal. Ne.
I look at her and I said to her, listen, I really don't understand what you mean because my goal never was in the first place to have arguments with you. This is not, I'm not here to have arguments with you. You know, this is not the idea. And she's like, he, smiling.
Mislim, to definitivno, da ni moj
Saj
namen.
pravim, da je boljš, da ne, ker zmagam ponovadi.
And she repeats, there is no way you can ever win over me. I always win.
Aha, ja,
Ja.
dobro, pa naj bo tako.
And I told her, well, yeah. I said, okay, and so let it be that way. And she's like, he.
Ampak, kaj sem hotel reči? A tako pa, tako, da tudi to
Ja,
ni bilo. Da tudi to ni bilo.
I told her that's how bad I am. So I did not get even that thing right.
Joj, koliko ste vi mene napela.
I tell her, girl, how much you duped me in life, I can possibly not believe.
Zdaj bom šel pa dol,
Samo razmišljam, kako
zdaj bom šel pa dol.
I told her, no, I did not dupe you. I'm only talking the truth. The truth I'm talking.
Dol, pa bom šel pa še enkrat gor in bom sem
And she's laughing. And I said, you know what? Now I'm going to go down and then I'm going to go one more time up there.
mislil, koliko ste vi mene napela.
And when I'm walking down and then when I'm going uphill, it's about like 200 meter of, what is it? How is that in English? Like altitude above the sea that you have to beat. When you go all the way up, you get like 200 meters you have ascended. So I tell her, and I'm gonna think about, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think about how you duped me, girl. And she is so laughing.
Adijo.
I say,
She should
okay.
be
I tell her, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you again. And so we go apart. She's laughing. She goes her way. She goes uphill, and I go downhill. This is where the audio ends pretty much, and then as I have demonstrated, on my way uphill, on her way downhill, we meet again, and I ask her a few other questions, which one is impossible for her anymore to refute that we don't know each other. It's impossible. And the whole audio recording is available, of course. The whole thing is available For anybody that would dare to doubt about any of this, no way you possibly can refute any of this. This is just the way it is. And here's what's coming next. We meet as she's heading downhill, and I'm now heading uphill on a different location, and I ask her the following.
Timo, tam noter veste koliko ljudi je bilo, vam bom jaz povedal.
Hold on a moment, I got it wrong. This one here. So we go apart. Tuck, 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 tuck.
Hvala.
I tell her thank you.
Gremo gor.
And we meet again. Now I'm heading uphill and she's heading downhill.
Vaš mož je pa grandin.
I told her, you know what, your husband works in a construction.
Huh?
Am I right?
Gradbeni tehnik.
He is a technician that works in a construction.
Sut ne.
She tells me no.
Ne.
Jo, potem mu sodeč po...
But what I really appreciate is that she was eager to help me out, and she's got a beautiful laugh. She's got a beautiful laughter. I really appreciate her laughter. And yeah, she was definitely out there to help me out as much as she possibly could. Whatever out of all this mess she could do possibly for me, that's what she did. She was out there. The hardest case of them all.
Pogovor, vsaj po nekih stvarih definitivno, da smo se. Oziroma tudi po tistih narobe odgovorih, ampak premišljujem.
She says, we never met before. I tell her, yes, of course we did, according to certain answers you gave me, confirmations. I'm still thinking, I tell her.
Kaj bo to? Vi ste rekla?
I tell her, let me ask you also, what was it
Je to...
you told me?
Kaj ste vi mene vodila tam v...
I told her, what did you used to take me to?
Poti smo potem tam leta 2000, kaj je bil tisti, 2004, 2005,
2004, 2005,
2006, pa tudi
2006,
2007,
2007, 2008.
Seveda.
Of course, I tell her.
Kaj bi tu en tak biro, pa ne velik?
I tell her, what was that? It was like a small bureau. And it was not big, it was a small bureau.
Majhen, tam noter je...
Inside of the bureau was employed exactly... You said that you did not work in a private company. I told her earlier, you told me that you did not work in a private company. And inside in there was just a few people employed.
Ni bila to privat firma.
That was not a private company. There was just a few people employed inside in there, I asked her.
Tam, ko ste vi delala, tam je bilo...
She says, I don't know.
Tam je bilo samo enih par ljudi, no.
There was only few people in there where you used to work. There was only few people that was in there that worked.
Ja, no, sej, ne vem. Vidite, kako...
Bila sem pa v manjšem klubu sem bila.
She said it was not private, but it was a smaller team that I used to work with.
V manjšem timu, tam
And I said it was a smaller team that you used to work with. Aha.
noter, veste, koliko ljudi je
Do you know how many people did work with you?
bilo, vam bom jaz povedal. Večer.
Good evening,
Tam
somebody
noter je
passes
bilo...
by.
Tam noter so bile... Ena, dva... Tam noter je bil morda... Tam noter sta...
I said inside in there that worked with you, there was like 1, 2...
morda...
There was in there possibly only
natančno bom
To be exact on a number of your co-workers, of all of you together,
se prav povedal. Tam noter sta bila dva možaka,
there were two men inside in there,
pa natančno, se pravi en možak, katerega, ki je imel pač, če se ga spomnim, kako je izgledal. Definitivno ga bi lahko na sliki pokazal, zelo enostavno. Pa
this was just a man, a short guy with a curly hair, with the glasses, I remember.
noter so bile tri tepe.
There was one guy, I tell her, and there were three ladies in there. So you're talking about the four people you used to work with.
In to so bile že starejše tepe.
And those are all older ladies. All older ladies.
Zdaj pa koliko sem se zmotil.
I tell her now, you tell me how much did I go wrong about this information.
Temo.
V katerem halu?
Stop.
Now she doesn't give me any answer again. Listen to this. She doesn't give me any answer. But she's like, and she says, in what city? In what city? In what city? Well, she took me to Maribor. She did some exams in Maribor. No, you couldn't make these things up. There was some stuff she did in Maribor, and she did some stuff in Ljubljana, and she did back and forth. And it was a time that I was acknowledged as no good, Bobby. And the ladies sworn vendetta against me. You know what I mean? And they brainwashed me on a completely wrong information. So now she doesn't give me information about whether that was true or not, but she's asking me in what city that was. They did really successfully brainwash me on a city of the Maribor, all through in continuation, and when already I go by myself, because I had enough of this. I have stayed at the city of Trebnje. It's not city of Trebnje. Don't cast your hopes yet anywhere. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was.
Pa sta pa bila tako, da sem videl strička tudi, je bil seveda starejši. Takrat je bil stric, se pravi, recimo tam nekaj prostitu, recimo 2006, 2005, recimo, je bil gospod že tam krepko tam čez enih 55, nekaj takega, se ni vedel.
Of course he was. He was like between 55 and 60 in 2004.
Te gospodu. Izgledalo pa je, da sta šla na teren, ne?
They always used to go on a terrain. They always used to go out on a terrain.
Se pravi, da vi ste delali nekaj, že nekaj ste delali tazga, ne?
There were
Da so
two guys that would always go on a terrain.
ljudje hodili na terenu.
Possibly one guy or two guys that would go on a terrain.
Tam tudi, ne?
All together, four people.
Moški so šli ven pogledati.
Man did go out, it looks like.
V katerem kraju, kako v katerem...
What place in Slovenia was this? That was impossible to know because she drilled me on 100 locations in Slovenia. So I knew that this I have no chance. But I wanted to have the answer on this question, basically.
V kraju, no. Joj.
I told her I don't know what city.
Novo mesto.
You know, I'm thinking about you drilled me on so many locations, so now I'm going to give the wrong location, and so, you know.
Prosim?
Let me see.
Prosim.
She asked me exactly. Let's hear.
Novo mesto, novo mesto. Novo mesto, kje je bilo novo mesto? Prosim?
She gives me Postojna. She gives me she give me her own locations where Postojna, Krain. She says, I don't know. Maribor, she says.
To je to, ker zdaj,
Yeah, well, you know.
zdaj bom šel
Maribor is where she would go to do some exams and took me with her. So, you know, very funny, ha ha ha.
jaz sem, da vrhem, vi boste pa begnila in potem tako, ne, in to je to. Ampak morate
And so I'm gonna give the name where this was, and it will be the wrong name, and you will escape, and you will not even tell me with how many people you worked inside the office. Ha ha ha. And she starts to laugh.
pa priznati, da tisti tim vaš je imel tam okoli 5 ljudi. A
But you have to admit me before you do this, before you escape in the dark, that your team, your crew of co-workers, it had about 5 people. 3 ladies and 1 man.
Koliko ljudi je bilo? 5? Se pravi, da sem povedal točno številko, 5 ljudi.
She says, I asked her, was it 5 people or not? And she says, yes, it was 5 people. So I said, so I was correct that it was 5 people.
No, in vi ste bila 6 kapol, ne? 3 tete pa 2 strica, ni bilo tako? Se pravi, so bile 2
3 ladies and 2 males, and you are the number 6, right? I tell her.
tete pa 2 strička.
She says, no.
Ja, kaj je
She says, no. There were 2 males and there were 2 ladies. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. She's wrong. She's completely wrong. There were not 2 ladies. I was the one who's correct. Absolutely correct. And the next time, the only thing she's going to do is she's going to have to confess herself about my even being more correct than she was. Well, the thing is such that inside of the office, my dear comptroller, auditor, one of these aunts, ladies, have had a constant visitor who also was involved in MK Ultra and with whom I have spent vast amount of time. And that was a sister of one of the ladies that would frequently participate inside of that office, that would give company to her sister. She was always inside of that office. So, yes, indeed, 3 ladies and 2 uncles. I am the one who is 100%, and I think that the lady, the sister that would always be with that other lady inside of that office with her sister, her profession was actually a hairstylist. For me to be like so right next time when I meet you, that not even in, I know that you were there to help me out. This I wanna thank to this girl that she came out as a state employee to literally to help me and cope with me with all the troubles. After all, she sacrificed a lot of time with me. You can see that the audio recording itself adds up to, what is this thing here? Altogether to 44 minutes she sacrificed for me that day. And she did also sacrifice occasionally during MK Ultra, but she would meet me in the dark at night so that nobody would see whenever they brought me up there to give me a refreshment about things. You know, this is just, they didn't want this to become a case because of her status. But yes, I did. I pinpointed out, and there's no freaking way anybody can possibly say anything other than 100%, beyond 100% identified, 1000% certainty, 100% certainty identified. Okay, team of 6. I pointed out. 2 men and 2 ladies, 2 older men and 2 older ladies with sister from one of the ladies who also retired from as a hair stylist. Actually, I should say hairdresser. Okay, so you gotta give me credit for all this stuff, and there's no freaking way. She was the 6th person. I was 100% correct about it. If I wouldn't be there with her, and you're talking about as far as, oh boy, she already took me to that place when she was still a student. So, you know, we are going back in time, 18 years. And such. And for you to know this, you gotta admit 100% identified. It was not private, it belonged to the state, but there were actually 4 people only employed with her. She was 5, with one of the sisters from the ladies always that was present. There was altogether 6 people always inside, and that sister from one of the ladies always was inside in there. Always. It didn't matter how late the work. Sometimes we would even depart at night. She always was present, and so she's gonna give me green. And I'm gonna tell you what. Let's go from Sanford. We're gonna go back to Novo Mesto. We gotta find out what the location was, where this thing was located. But this thing was located in the area of Trebnje. However, this is a small place, and it's the first time I'm actually looking at the map, because this is the way I like it. And I'm going to tell you that it was not inside of the city of Trebnje, but it was in the vicinity. Very, very likely, this place that you see here, the name is Veliki Gaber, and then you have a Mirna, and you have a here Mirna Pech, and between this thing here, between this stuff here, this should be just somewhere, I don't know, somewhere here, something like this. Maybe even Velika Loka or whatever it is. This is basically what I cast my vote. In the vicinity of Trebnje, I'm gonna go maybe even with the Veliki Gaber. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. It was something like this. Something like this it was. Something like this it was. She used to take me there. Oh, so next time when I see her, I didn't even look I didn't look anywhere. I didn't look anywhere, but listen, this is it. That's all I do. I'm not going any further. Maybe it was actually not so far. Trebnje. It was in the vicinity of Trebnje. That's it. That's it. This is enough. This is Slovenia. That's it. This is my second guess. It was not Maribor. This is Maribor. Maribor is far away from here. 4 hours away from here. I say Trebnje. Trebnje is this here, this thing here. This is about 20 kilometers from here. That's it. 20-25 kilometers from here. That's right. Trebnje. Trebnje is the place. All right. That's all I bet. Oh damn it! I don't. It was something like this. Trebnje. I remember. It was either Trebnje, Velika Loka, something like this. It was actually that I'm even more mistaken. It must have been Okay, now if I get down on this stuff here, something I don't know why this would be, you know. Dolenje vas primerni peči, just, I don't understand, but it was something like, I'm gonna go with the Trebnje, even that I think it was closer. I think it was exactly 17 kilometers or something like this. And that's enough of it. I'm not getting anywhere with this. I don't know where the offices are there, and I'm not gonna go further. That's it.
Šel tudi ven malo, ne? Na teren so šli tako. Ne? Je pa kako to ni privatna firma? Ni bila to privatna?
I don't know what you said in respect to.
Ja, ki je šel tudi ven malo, ne? Na teren so šli tako. Ne? Je pa kako to ni privatna?
Yeah, but I did. I saw him many times walk out and this and that.
Privatna firma. Ni bila to privatna firma?
Ja, ne vem, katera.
Ja, vi ste prej rekli, da vi niste za privatno firmo
Ne,
delali.
saj nisem.
And I was sure that this was not a
A manjši kolektiv je
Manjši
bil.
kolektiv.
this was a state office. It was not a private company, but you got to admit that this company like this that belongs to the state, some kind of auditioning taxes and stuff like this is just not regular stuff.
Aha,
Ne privatni.
aha.
So identified 100%.
Ja, ne, saj vem, kje je bilo. Saj vem, prebrisanka ste. Prebrisanka ste. Ne sakanje nisem s tem reči. V Mariboru je bilo. Nekje Maribor. Ti ste sama takrat povedala. Ha, ha, ha.
And for the goodbye, I make another mistake. And I gesture it was in Maribor, and she goes into the night all happy because no.
Kako? Takrat, med tistim postopkom vašim. Zdaj pa kar povejte, a je bilo ali ni bilo? Ni bilo zraven Maribora
No, but she did exams in Maribor. Okay.
nekje.
Few exams, very, very few. 2, 3 times she had to go to Maribor. She got something certified from Maribor, for sure, on her diploma.
Čakajte malo, sem trenutek. Vi pravite, da to ni bilo zraven
And she says it was not in Maribor.
Maribora, da to ni bilo zraven, ne v Mariboru, ampak zraven Maribora.
Not in the vicinity of Maribor, go away. She had me in the Ptuj and all the areas. I don't want to guess anymore. I go home and I really, really thank her very much.
Jaz iz Maribora nisem.
And that's pretty much it for me.
Mislim,
Nisem več v Mariboru.
ni bil kakšen Ptuj ali kaj takega. Joj, punce, tako si ti mene tole.
So it was not in Ptuj. This is right next to Maribor. She is so happy laughing again.
Adijo.
And we go apart. And bye-bye. And that's it. That's that. Basically, I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, even for this part, she have chosen a location that is video surveillance. That too is located next to the house where they do have cameras, just as she told me she would. So she was completely calculated where she would meet it. This were 2 locations that, according to her alone, were 100% surveillance, because she even asked people to do that so that there wouldn't be any kind of complications, mistakes and stuff like this. She's very punctual in that sense. Now this stuff is 3 hours long. Next to this audio recording, I'm gonna place original audio recording that you have, that I have translated for you in Slovenian language. It's gonna be, and that's about it. Thanks for watching this video. Without any doubt, this is a state comptroller, auditor, inspector, revisor in Slovenian language that I had managed to identify just 2 days ago. Yeah, I'm also gonna take date and time when this was video recorded. Audio recorded, however, audio was obtained 2 days ago. And of course, I do like to thank her very much for the time she spent, her devotion to help me out. I know she always wanted to help me out. Also during MK Ultra. That's all I want to do. Thank you very much, and I hope I meet you again. I know you're watching this. Even that I didn't give you the site address, but yes, my work is not too far. Thanks for watching this. Till next time.